In the eventual aftermath of the famous Battle of the Sexes tennis match between Bobby Riggs and Billie Jean King in 1973, things began improving for female athletes in terms of fair compensation. But how perverse is it that almost a half-century after the Battle of the Sexes, female athletes are now being screwed over thanks to Battle of the Genders? While confined in a plane recently, I got to see last year's Battle of the Sexes. I regret I never saw it when it was released theatrically. It's an excellent film, well written, superbly paced, and well acted, and I'm now convinced that Steve Carell is probably Hollywood's most versatile actor. The movie kicks off with women's libber Billie Jean King, along with other top female tennis players, parting ways with the U.S. Lawn Tennis Association, given that female players were only receiving a fraction of the prize money compared to their male counterparts. In the meantime, retired male tennis player Bobby Riggs, ever the hustler, thought he would cash in on the female empowerment movement to make himself relevant again, and Riggs sure cooked up a sensational scheme.
Hello?
Eureka, Billie Jean!
It's Bobby Riggs. I had a great idea. Male chauvinist pig versus hairy-legged feminist.
You're still a feminist, right?
I'm a tennis player who happens to be a woman.
Don't hang up.
By the way, I shave my legs.
Billie Jean King, already a champion of women's rights, is now the most successful female player of all time.
I am not saying that women don't belong on the court. Who would pick up the balls otherwise?
Oh my God.
There isn't a single thing I don't hate about Bobby Riggs.
You know what I'm doing? I'm cooking. I'm cooking! I won the triple in Wimbledon. I could beat Billie Jean King.
Does she have the nerve?
Call Bobby. Tell him it's on.
Now, while King was very reluctant to participate at first, she eventually relented and gave Bobby that match. And what resulted was perhaps the biggest TV event since the Apollo 11 moon landing in 1969. Now, in case you weren't around in 1973 or you haven't seen the movie, I'll steer clear of any spoilers here in terms of which sex triumphed that night under the Houston Astrodome, the #1 ranked 29-year-old Miss King or the 55-year-old Mr. Riggs. Having said that, there was no question that Billie Jean King's quest for fairness did get the ball in play when it came to fairly compensating female athletes who owe much to the trailblazing BJK. But by the same token, it's nothing short of perversely ironic to see what is happening in the world of women's athletics today. Because some 45 years later, Battle of the Sexes has been replaced by Battle of the Genders, which is to say female athletes are now going up, unwillingly for the most part, against men who are pretending to be women. From cycling to wrestling, phony baloney she-males are taking on bona fide females, and surprise, surprise, the Franken-females are winning. Little wonder, really. A man has more testosterone, greater muscle mass, and larger lung capacity. Sure, a dude can have a surgeon slice and dice his genitalia and bolt on a pair of silicone breasts, but biologically speaking, he, she, it is still a dude. Now, we've chronicled numerous stories about this inherent unfairness in the past, but it's only getting worse. Indeed, this farcical state of affairs has become so bad that back in September, U Sports, the organization that governs intercollegiate athletics in Canada, quietly rolled out a new official policy for transgender student athletes. In a nutshell, the new policy states that trans students will be able to compete on teams that correspond with their birth gender or the gender they now identify with, as long as they comply with the Canadian anti-doping program. So it's no longer what you are biologically, it's how you feel mentally. For real women, this is just so unfair. It is so egregious. And this perverse social engineering is being driven by cowardly cucks beholden to political correctness. Yet, where are the Billie Jean Kings of today? Where, oh where, has the feminist movement gone? In 1973, feminists were all about empowering women. Today, they seem to be more concerned about not hurting the feelings of those who identify as non-binary, asexual, gender-fluid spirit unicorns, Irony of ironies, it would appear that today's feminists have actually thrown women under the bus in order to buy into trans liberation nonsense. So yeah, you've come a long way, baby. Actually, you've gone full circle, because now the gals are getting screwed over yet again, not in terms of financial compensation, but rather in terms of their opponents, men pretending to be women. Wow, not even the over-the-top huckster Bobby Riggs could ever have dreamt up a scheme like that. For the Rebel.media, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. It seems that everyone wants to communicate by texting these days. The problem is people just assume they can text any number and the text will be received. But what if the intended recipient never got that text? This can lead to bad customer relations and lost business. Now you can make any number a textable number. Introducing Unite's Text Me. Unite's Text Me allows you to receive text messages on your business number, even if it's an old style landline. And you can even respond back to those texts. For more information, visit www.textmeanywhere.com. That's www.textmeanywhere.com, or text 877-864-8363.